Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere, the Bakeliters Radio Theatre.
Dancing for rockers.
The concept of Bakelite theatre came out of a school that I was teaching at. Now, I saw a need for those young people to express themselves, but there was never the medium. They couldn't write, they couldn't make plays, they couldn't make films, so they needed something where they could express themselves, and this was the perfect medium. I used to bring a tape recorder in and let them just tell their stories normally, and then they were able to create an identity through their writing, and they could suddenly see an ability to be able to express themselves. Let's try that. The radio theatre is probably the most economic form of theatre that we have today.
By letting her go, it will make more porcupine.
Well, that concept is one that allows us the opportunity to cater to our style of theatre. Our Aboriginal theatre, that communication, the storytelling around the campfires, that is the type of communication that we've all inherited, and we're trying to impart some of that to the rest of the world.
Biami, he was good fella and always looked after his people. So the mother of life. And
it's nice to think that Aboriginals are resurrecting something as clever as a communication medium as that radio was. Because I grew up in the era of Mo Makaki and all of the radio theatre, the Blue Hills and all of that. And what I learned out of that, I mean, it taught me theatre that television doesn't do. Radio paints, you know, so many different sorts of pictures.
There's a track winding back to an old-fashioned shack along the road to Gundagai.
I believe they used to do it in the old days in the ABC, and you got dressed up in your best togs and stood in front of a microphone to a live audience, but it wasn't. It was a sort of contrived event in a studio. This is out in the world. And of course there are economical reasons for doing this. It's a cheap, exciting way of creating theatre. I'm really interested in theatre as a social event. I'm not particularly interested in theatre sort of in limbo. And obviously Bob's going to take this out to people in the country. You can play it anywhere, you can play it in the city. But it has so many different layers to it. The content's fascinating.
The fire's warm. It's been long and painful, this life.
It's making political statements. It has an entertainment value of its own, because actually, although standing at microphones and presenting radio theatre mightn't sound interesting, it's fascinating, because people are watching the whole technique, watching the actors act, and listening. It makes your mind more alert, I think.
She chased him to the big water hole. He not spirit, he not human, and must live forever in dark and evil places on the earth.
Our old people are always telling us to look after Earth Mother, Kunapipi, Biami, or whatever our legend is about, it relates to the earth. And forever pushing that idea of conservation. And this is one of the most important, probably the underline of everything, of a lot of our material, is that we must relate it to the people, and the people must relate to the land.
Men have placed the great warrow's body on the raft of paper bark and set it alight. The women are beating their heads with stones and cutting their flesh with shells in their grief.
Vivian's play, Burrum, that is the real history, that is what happens. It shows the ignorance on both sides. As Aboriginal people, we thought, there are our people coming back from the dreaming, you know, and the white people just looked and thought, oh, look at those beggars, those wretched beggars on the shore there. That's a history lesson for all of us. And that's just one story. There are thousands and thousands. Apart from re-educating whites, if we take it out to the communities, there's children there that'll see that. It'll give them hope. Re-educate them with what our history is, not the way that it's been reported in textbooks the way they learn at school.
Aboriginal history has always expressed itself in theatre, dance, mime, music. That has been the epitome of its cultural expression, and that is very important. And it also provides an avenue where you can integrate so many aspects of Aboriginal culture, like the storytelling, like laws, Dreamtime laws, which have retained, you know, the unity of a particular group of people. A simple medium as radio theatre taken into communities where children and older people can be involved will then stimulate that community, because if children are allowed to use their imaginations and they realise that stories can be told, they will go and seek those stories. And then you have the importance of elders who will give them those stories. You will have the continuation of our culture. And that is something that's very important, because up until this stage in Australian society, a lot of Aboriginal communities have operated in isolation.
Well, it's this type of theatre that is making us unique, but it's also making us viable, as a viable example for other communities to follow. I mean, in our workshops, we'll be able to tell people how to do this type of theatre with the simplest of things, their voices. Of course, every play relies heavily on brilliant sound effects, and that's really where we create our own theatre.
Man of the longboats, we go ashore.
I mean, we can make the wind, we can make the birds, we can make day, night, anything. We can take it right into outer space just with our voices. We're just trying to show people that they can make sound very simply with very simple things.
I've never heard sound effects being made by people who seem to be so attuned to the thing they were trying to recreate in the theatre. You know, I don't mean the cups of tea and things, but the bush noises and the bird calls and the wind. It was amazing. Bob's got a lovely expression for it, sort of pictures in your mind.
In a small CES office downtown, Mansell and Burgess are at their desks preparing for the day's work of receiving applicants for jobs. The year is 2028. Aborigines have taken over.
Well, I suppose we'll have another mob of no-uppers in here again today, eh, Burgess?
Yeah, you know, but not so bad, you know. Them white fella coming in here half drunk all the time, claiming that they don't get a fair go.
Don't get a fair go? Christ, what next?
Of course, it's only natural that the Bakeliters, in reflecting today's society, will stage some political works.
G'day. I want to see about a job. Got anything?
Oh, yeah? You're white, ain't you? We got a training program for you fellas. Would you like to try training as an assistant to the chief Aboriginal archaeologist?
Oh, yeah. How do I go about it?
Well, look, bud, first you got to do it this way. You got to fill out this form. Gee, you can't read, eh? You can't even write.
Can't write, eh? You ought to go to the education department. They got special programs for you white fellas.
Yeah, look, mate, have a go at this one, bud. First, see if you can do something with your life, eh? Now, are you full, bud?
I'm not sure. My great-grandfather was related to Clint Holding, if that helps.
Hey, I know some history about Holding.
Yeah, about him.
Father reckons he was a real bastard. That means ain't park-wide, eh? Better put this fella down as half-caste.
I think it's very important that Aboriginal people are given an opportunity to reflect the society that they live in and are affected by. Hence, a black theatre will do that.
I feel there's a lot of animosity among Aboriginal people, and a lot of young writers are writing very strongly against white people. In this particular one that we did, when I read it on paper, it looked pretty barbed against white people. But the interesting thing about it was, in the performance, the Aboriginal people toned it right down.
Okay, bud, look, just take a look at this form now. This is an ether for 3 months. Get yourself down to that old Parliament House, eh, site near the wharf, and report to Mr. Charlie Bakins. He's the chief archie. They're digging up that place and looking into your people's history.
Oh, I don't want that job. That's a sacred site. You people shouldn't be touching that.
Ah, sacred site. You fellas always saying that when we start to develop a place. What's so bloody sacred about that old Parliament House of yours, anyway?
It's a spiritual place.
Where?
Our ancestors, our wise people, used that place to talk and work out things for the good of mankind.
Well, the greed of whites would be more like it than the truth.
I don't like it. That's our heritage. And we should be allowed to determine what happens to it, not Aborigines.
Yeah, we've had about just enough of this.
If there's a divisiveness within the material, let me just say that if the cap fits, then wear it. I mean, if there are people there who are concerned about Aboriginal people and Aboriginal people standing up and saying their piece, if they should take offence, then I'm sorry for them, because we're going to say it.
G'day, Snakey. G'day, Kangaroo.
G'day,
What's
how's it
going
going, Billy?
on, old cobber?
These bastards are desecrating our heritage.
Okay, keep
And
your language
expect
down
us
there,
to
bud.
do the job that could make us look
Look
like
like coconuts.
coconuts.
Yeah.
Oh, g'day, old coat. I'm looking for a job. What do you got?
How you going, buddy boy? Look, mate, this must be a lucky day. We can offer you the director position, bud, at the Aboriginal Institute for Hawker Studies.
Director's
How'd you like
position?
that one, eh?
Oh, that'll do me fine, old coat. Thanks very much.
Right on, brother.
He'll take it. He'll bloody well take it, all right. Well, what about letting us take it? You bloody blacks won't let us look after our own welfare, much less anything else.
Yeah, that's right, Billy. We should do something about it. Let's go and see Norm Gallagher. He's the State Secretary of the government-regulated Ochre Grants. He'll stir him up.
Yeah, let's
Stick.
go. Stick the job up your ass, you racist.
Hey,
bastard.
cut it out. Cut it out. Those people got no pride.
I mean, it's our duty for Aboriginal people to be able to say the things that we want to say. We want to tell white Australia what we think is wrong with it. We want to try and also help find a solution to it. We want to be part of it. We want to live in a land that we can all live reasonably happy.
If we want to talk about reflections, then what we're reflecting is a culture's struggle to validate itself in a society which does not accept it and which tries to undermine it continually, and that's socially, economically and politically, and also spiritually.
Recognition. Well, we've done a radio play for the BBC. We've been invited to Germany for the De-Aborigine Festival, and we're doing a season in Sydney before touring the Eastern Australian coast. But it's hard. It's hard for Aboriginals to get recognition in Australia. I guess we'll just have to prove that we're better than the best.
Now that's our show. We've got to go. The Bakeliters on parade. We just hope that you enjoy it. That's our radio here today. That's our show. We've got to go. Bakeliters on parade. We just hope